Good evening and welcome to the Lone Star State. The Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on iRacing.com is taking their first of 3 trips to Texas tonight, here in Austin. After an exhilarating race last week in Atlanta, these drivers are prepared to go 250 miles on the first road course of our 2022 campaign. This should prove to be an exciting night for racing. And I'll tell you what, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, road racing, Texas, it's got to be a Monday Night Xfinity Series racing here on the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal, and I will be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, on the Independence Racing Network, sponsored by Northeastern Fire and Air. Ladies and gentlemen, gather your friends, grab some popcorn, and settle in. We have an exciting race here tonight at COTA, or Circuit of the Americas, as it's more officially known. Right now, during practice, Tim Trowbridge here in the number 74 Ford was the fastest, and he still sits atop that leaderboard as he's just going out on his first lap here for qualifying. We see him working his way down and around through these windy, wicked turns here. And qualifying going to matter tonight, because as these drivers get themselves all wound up, as we saw him take that turn just a little bit wide, qualifying going to matter quite a lot tonight, because if you can get yourself toward the front of the pack and get yourself stretched out, you can give yourself a lot more room. There's a lot of bottlenecks and things that start to happen here. Oh, as Trowbridge has to really bring it under control. And we'll take a look here as he gets ready to come up the front stretch, passing that DRS sign here toward turn 1. We're going to see him slow down, and this is a very treacherous turn here at COTA, where just as that car is trying to make its transition, all of that downforce that you need so desperately is now hopped up into the air. And we see him taking turn 2 pretty gently here, but this is an interesting section of the track, folks. See these yellow, kind of bumpy-looking things here in the middle of your screen, here in the S's section of the track? Those are called, not really affectionately, but they are called turtles. They're basically big piles of stuff in the way, and believe you me, if that car that Tim Trowbridge is driving gets anywhere on or around one of those, it's going to cost him for sure. And we see him coming down here to the first of the hairpin turns, this being the tightest. We see Trowbridge get through there with such ease, and now he's going to go down this long backstretch here, where in the Cup Series, it's pretty much the only place where you can get all the way into 5th gear, and we see him coming over that hump. A very hilly track. The elevation changes quite a bit here at Circuit of the Americas. So a lot to work with here with these drivers of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. As Trowbridge gets himself through turn 12, we'll take a look here at who was second fastest during practice, Dakota Cave, who's now making his first attempt here while qualifying. As we see Dakota taking a little bit of a tighter stance here through the hairpin turn, and gets himself down and around through toward turn 13, which we will see here any moment. Taking a look here at the number 59 Chevrolet of Chad Sanner. Right now, our pole sitter is Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford, sponsored by Ford Performance, as he is out on his early run here. He's already completed his first lap at 2 minutes 16 seconds, followed by Tim Trowbridge, who is at 2 minutes 16 seconds, .62, so about 0.3 of a second separating those two atop the leaderboard. And after Trowbridge, about 3 seconds back, is Bob Nestor in the number 29 Toyota. So plenty going on here tonight at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Just a quick check at our current conditions here at the track. Track temperature definitely heating up a little bit here as we can see that number edging ever closer to that 95 mark. Track temperature is currently 93 degrees with an ambient air temperature of 80 degrees. Pretty comfortable as far as humidity goes at 50%, so still going to be quite a feat to keep these cars cool for these drivers as they are working their tails off. And I'll tell you what, with everything going on inside that car, these drivers are going to be working like a son of a gun to get through all of that. And we'll take a look here from the cockpit of Nicholas Breidenbach, who's going down that backstretch that I had talked about before after the hairpin turn. And we see him drop down into fourth gear, and now he is going to get all the way on that brake to woe the car down. Sets himself up nice and wide, but I'll tell you what, in most races on the NASCAR circuit, you don't see that orange tape disappear so far. And not only that, but, you know, traditionally, of course, in NASCAR, we make a whole lot of left turns. And tonight there are rights, lefts, a couple of weird little wiggles down through these. So, you know, all in all, this is a very different track for these drivers to be taken care of and getting around tonight. And we take a look from high above the racetrack. As you can see here in the lower left-hand section of your screen, one long straightaway. But, you know, honestly, that's not even the longest straightaway. Of course, that's the front stretch there where you can see pit road and those cars and pit boxes lined up there toward the front of it in some bright greens and reds. But in about the upper middle of your screen, you can see that long straightaway, and it makes a hard left. And all of a sudden, it's just, you know, weaving and bobbing. I would say it's like a country road, but it is the furthest thing from it, as the elevation on this piece here changes so drastically, as there's even a dip at one point where you're going down and then up. So there is a whole lot of changes that happen to each and every car on the track tonight. So God bless the guy who's going to bring home the checkered flag, whoever that happens to be. I sure hope he can hang on to it as we look here at Austen Storey. And Austen was our winner last year in the Xfinity series here at COTA. And we're hoping that he can make another fine run at it this evening, as Austen has posted himself a P5 performance just ahead of Bob Nestor. Austen posting a 2 minute 17.49 seconds. And we look now at Chris Claude driving the number 10 Dasani Toyota. And Chris, whoa, gets it all wrong. And he will reset, and that will probably be the end of that lap there, as it looks like Chris's best lap so far is 2 minutes 23.22 seconds. So probably about 8 more cars need to complete some qualifying laps here. Not a full field tonight, as it looks to be just about 21 cars will take the green flag once we get moving. And folks, just want to make sure that we are welcoming you into YouTube here on the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal. Feel free to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Every time we go live here, you will get a notification saying, hey, it's Monday night. Watch that Xfinity Series racing action on the Independence Racing Network on YouTube.com. You can follow us on Facebook as well, and we are doing everything we can to get these races to you. And interesting thing about this Xfinity series, unlike many of the other series on iRacing, this is 100% races. This is exactly what they would be running if we were in real life. So That being said,
In
we have a
2007,
total tonight
Ray Regal
of
had a
48
vision of
laps.
serving
Now,
his fellow
stage 1
firefighters
is going to
breathing
end
air
at
needs
lap
better.
14. So
As
once
a city
the
of
10th
Reading
place car
firefighters since
crosses
1975,
that start
he knows
finish
the
line,
difficulties
that'll
of
freeze
finding
the
the
field,
best
and we
and
will have
most
a
affordable
competition
service
caution.
company to care
Then
for and manage
stage
the most
2 is going to
important
end at
means
lap
of
number
survival
30. So
firefighters
it
have,
extends that
breathing
second
air.
stage a little bit longer than what the
Northeastern
first
Fire
stage
and Air
was.
is committed to
But
providing
again,
our brothers and
once that 10th
sisters
place
with the
car
best
crosses
service
the
in the
start
industry
finish line,
and at an affordable cost.
we'll have another
For
competition
more
caution,
information,
and that
call
should be enough to get these drivers through
610-207-6608
all
for a
48
consultation
of these
today,
laps,
and know that you can
things are gonna
breathe
be
easy
really
with
tough here
Northeastern
tonight
Fire and Air.
as we get ready at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Again, I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone, bringing you all of the action from the green flag to the checkered flag. And it looks like we just have a few more minutes here of qualifying, and we'll pull up John Bawalda III if we can. I think he should still be out on track here in the number 51 Chevrolet. And, you know, we want to talk about the point standings right now. Mike Wright was your winner last week. And, I mean, in all seriousness, he is sitting atop this leaderboard quite comfortably, followed by Bobby Blazer, who's only 48 points behind. And, you know, Bobby's out here who's qualified 4th so far this evening. So we're hoping to see him start to chase down Mike Wright, followed by Alex Princeton in 3rd, James Ray in 4th, and John Bawalda, who we're taking a look at right now in that number 51 Chevrolet, is sitting as you're rounding out the top 5 in your point standings. So lots to talk about tonight, lots to get to. And we are glad to have you back here with us, as always, on a Monday night. And as I just mentioned a moment ago, Mike Wright did manage to capture that checkered flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway last week after an exhilarating win in Atlanta. And that has actually catapulted him to the top of the point standings. So Mike Wright, definitely a lot to look forward to here as we get ready to be underway with about 2 minutes left in qualifying. It looks like John Bawalda III may be our last qualifier this evening, as he is about to cross that start-finish line here at Circuit of the Americas.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
Folks, we want to welcome you back to Circuit of the Americas, or as more commonly known, COTA, here in Austin, Texas. I'm Dave Regal on the Independence Racing Network. Here at the ones and twos and everything in between, I will be with you from the drop of the green flag to the wave of the checkered flag here in the Lone Star State. Qualifying has now just about wrapped up with about 14 seconds left and nobody else out on track. So we will get that qualifying order to you in just one moment here as that wraps itself up. And starting on the pole this evening, we do have Mike Wright in that number 38 Ford from Greensboro, North Carolina. Mike, of course, your points leader. We'll check in with him as the race gets ready to rock and roll here. Followed by Nicholas Breidenbach on the outside of row number 1. Correction. Nicholas has not taken the field yet. Tim Trowbridge on the inside of row number 2 in the number 74 Ford, followed by Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford from York, Pennsylvania. Austen Storey in the number 23, your reigning COTA championship from Valdosta, Georgia, in his number 23 Dr. Pepper Toyota. P6 is John Espewaldo III, your new Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks Series commissioner, in the number 51 Chevrolet from Bel Air, Maryland. Followed by Bob Nestor, tonight's Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series commissioner from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Followed by Zach Vaughn in the number 91 Toyota. Dakota Cave in 9th, and Chad Sanner in the number 59 Chevrolet from Smithfield, Pennsylvania, rounds out your top 10. Chris Claude, the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series commissioner from Fairview, Tennessee, leads Alpha at 11th position, with Bryson Alexander on his outside in the number 20 Toyota from New York. Brad Gunn in the number 36 Chevrolet starting in 13th from Aztec, New Mexico, with Corey Burkett in the number 13 Ford on his outside. Ian Humphreys in 15th. Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the number 57 Chevrolet starts 16th. 17th is Aaron Mack from Fort Riley, Kansas in the number 31 Toyota. Carlos Ramos behind him in 19th, with Tony Burt in the number 72 car from Hodgesville, West Virginia, starting in 20th. And 22nd is Andrew Layton, who has not taken the field from Huntington Beach, California. As it appears we are now underway with that pace car out here. Its lights are off, so we'll be getting ready to go green here in just a few moments as these cars get ready to take that green flag. And as I mentioned earlier, your pole sitter, Mike Wright, is going to have Nicholas Breidenbach from Orlando, Florida, on his outside. So things about to start getting heated up here at Circuit of the Americas, and we will be racing, of course, as I said earlier, to lap number 14 for the end of stage number 1. So 14 laps here as we get ready at COTA. And we see the pace car diving down pit road. Quite an interesting pit road entrance, and we'll talk about that later, I am sure. As we reach way up there and pull those belts tight, grab some popcorn, bring a friend, settle in, and let's get ready for green flag racing at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And we see what looks like a log jam here with a car sideways and pointed the wrong direction. Definitely starting to be a little bit of a problem, as we are now 3 wide going into turn number 2 here, with what looks to be the 30 car of Dakota Cave on the outside of that 3 wide situation. Now we come into the S's with Mike Wright getting himself nice and easy here. And we see those lead cars getting themselves all nice and single file, with Chris Claude just about the last car single file in this group. You won't see any full course cautions here this evening, barring any kind of, turmoil or excitement as we get ready to go down into the hairpin turn. And we see these cars, a little bit of brake smoke coming off tonight as we move through, taking a look at Nicholas Breidenbach, who had started in P2, working his way down the back stretch here. That nice long stretch where you can kind of get your legs out in front, as we see Mike Wright coming through. Your race leader, it looks like he is going to be able to lead lap 1 here, but Austen Storey in the number 23 Dr. Pepper Toyota chasing him down. And it looks like Mike is going to get through this particular section here, as he's probably down in about second gear, getting through this next hairpin. My goodness. He makes that look easy even before these tires get all heated up. Austen Storey chasing him down as we make our way back toward the last two corners here as we get ready to go back to the front stretch. And this first lap just about complete, as most of these top about 8, 9, 10 drivers getting through with next to no issue, all the way back as far now as 13th position, Chris Claude, as we see Mike Wright getting himself that first lap lead. Taking a look here at Tim Trowbridge and Bobby Blazer, we switch right over here to the number 51 car of John S. Bawalda. Bawalda chasing down Chad Sanner as we get ready to go here into the S's. Looks like Bawalda is going to continue to lead through as we get through, but Mike Wright gets himself all nice and set up here as we're waiting for Bawalda and Sanner to come through here in turn number 8. My goodness. Oh, we see Bobby Blazer taking a little bit of a hop there. Carlos Ramos, that is. Carlos Ramos being chased down by Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as they are going to be driving it all the way down here behind Nestor into that hairpin, getting themselves set up for the back stretch. And we will see Ramos get here right alongside of Nestor and Dakota Cave coming through, as we're going to take a look right here. You see Nestor in that number 29 Relative Properties Toyota closely behind Dakota Cave, but being chased down like a dog by Carlos Ramos and Joe Stafford, as Stafford going to get on the inside of Nestor here. Nestor kind of hung out to dry on the outside of that turn, while Dakota Cave and Joe Stafford get themselves lined up here behind Chad Sanner. As now we see Joe Stafford making the pass here on Dakota Cave. Stafford not going to be put to bed easy. So far has a little bit of damage there on the rear of his car, making it all the way through, as now it seems that things have kind of loosened up a little bit for him, as it's not near as tight. But again, we look at Carlos Ramos and then the 36 car and back to the 51, as everything just kind of mixed up here. We take a look at Sanner. Oh, the iRacing camera selector can't really make its mind up, as it decides that everything is exciting here tonight. Wow, Bawalda really took that turn that pretty tight there. We're going to take a look back at that, as I believe he did catch some of that turtle that we were talking about earlier in this race. Nope, he just had himself upset on it. Definitely going to be something to watch tonight as these turtles get themselves in everybody's way. We'll take a look here at Chris Claude, as Claude takes that just a little bit tight coming into turn 1. It looks like he was trying to get himself as close to the inside of that and let some of the faster cars get around him. We'll take a look here as Claude, Chris really just kind of took that way too tight and actually cut it right in half. And of course, those turtles and those curbs upset the car so bad that, it takes him a second to regain his position. And we see that Bryson Alexander also getting a few things messed up here. We'll take a look here at Alexander in the 20 car, who comes on the inside of the 36. And honestly, that probably serves him right, as he definitely came in a little bit too hot there. We'll take a closer look as we see him on the inside of the 36 car driven by Brad Gunn and his Chevrolet. And we see Alexander just catches that left rear. Alexander able to drive off. But, of course, Bryson Alexander a little tied up now. So lots of activity tonight here at Circuit of the Americas as we look in here at the number 91 Rowdy Toyota driven by Zach Vaughn. This is Zach's first year in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And so far, so good this season. He definitely hasn't had a bad year yet up until this point, and I'm pretty sure, judging by the skill that he has exhibited, we're going to see a lot of good racing out of him the rest of this season. So hopefully he can keep it up. And right now, Zach Vaughn running in 7th position, chasing down Carlos Ramos in the number 97. Now, folks, when I say the number 97 for Carlos Ramos, I will note that although the side of his car says number 90, on the score sheet, he is the number 97. See, in iRacing, there's a lot of different things that you can do to customize your car, and one of them is to use trading paints to paint those cars, and you can put a custom number into that paint. You can bake it into the paint. However, once you're in an official session, whether it's a public session or here in a league session, whatever number that you have been assigned by that league is what will show up on the score sheet, but not necessarily on the side of your car. So a little bit of a technical thing, but the most important thing is to make sure that these paints are on here properly, because of course that can be very frustrating for both sponsors, drivers, and me, the broadcaster, you, the folks at home. It's just frustrating to everybody when you're looking for that car that you're used to seeing all the time. And we're going to take a look here at Ian Humphreys. Humphreys coming down the stretch, just completely gets him locked up. But fortunately, nobody around that number 32 Adrenaline Toyota, as he is going to get back underway. We'll check in here with Mike Wright, who has now opened himself up a 5.5-second lead over last year's reigning COTA champion, Austen Storey. I think we're going to see some interesting pit strategies here tonight, to be honest with you. A lot of guys are going to be taking some tires early, maybe try to stretch this out. One of the things that we noticed last night is that although these tires are going to wear, they'll probably wear at a pretty even spot. And keep in mind that everybody out here on the track is using or is on the same cycle that you are, at least at the beginning of a race. So something to keep in mind is that these folks, as they're slowing down, you're slowing down. So nothing to be worried about when you can see, oh, the time's falling off a little bit. The gap is getting a little bit further. As we're going to take a look in here at the number 17 of Jarrett Small. Jarrett just takes the turn a little bit wide here, plows into the 31 of Aaron Mack, and the 36 car of Brad Gunn, that Chevrolet, also getting wrapped up in that. As we're going to see a lot of those smaller incidents, almost like driving down a country road at home, where sometimes that deer jumps out, you go to flinch and zig left, he goes to zig right, and you wind up meeting on that yellow line in the middle. But Austen Storey running a good second position race right now. No issues so far as of yet, at least not on the scoring chart, as we have now completed 5 of 48 laps, and we are marching toward lap number 14 to the end of stage number 1 here. Austin's followed by Tim Trowbridge in the number 74 Ford. Tim, an Xfinity Series regular, one heck of a racer, and, you know, I know that he's been frustrated a couple of times, you know, in races this season, but it definitely seems like he has this car dialed in as he gets ready to come down this backstretch, lining himself up for the hairpin. And we see now Chris Claude here in the number 10 car running in 17th position. So definitely has had himself a little bit of fall off here, as Zach Vaughn in the number 91 is exactly where he started, 8th position. No better, no worse. Your big mover so far tonight is Carlos Ramos, and Carlos driving the number 97 that looks like 90 on his car, Chevrolet, is up 13 positions from where he started. So he qualified in 19th and has now worked his way all the way up into 6th position. So glad to see that he has worked his way up, as Chris Claude has had another hiccup here, as we can see him coming down and just taking that turn a little bit wide, slowing him down here at COTA. Joe Stafford in the number 57 Chevrolet from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, chasing down Carlos Ramos now, as he has now narrowed that lead down to just about half a second. This right here is the closest distance that we have on the racetrack tonight at this point in the race. And I have to be honest with you, this is going to be the one to watch, because Joe Stafford, not a weak driver whatsoever, as they head down here into some tire smoke from somebody who locked him up coming through the turn. They get all settled down. And make their way back through. Carlos Ramos leading Stafford, as Stafford is hot on his trail. And we see them coming through the arena here on the left-hand side of your screen. They'll make it through, as Stafford now looking to the inside. Doesn't see it yet, but he's definitely working toward it. We see Carlos Ramos doing his best to try to shake Stafford free, and Stafford's having none of it as they come through these final two turns back toward the front stretch. And it almost appears, and you're going to see them come right behind that scoring tower here on the left-hand side of your screen, as Ramos still in front of Stafford, with Stafford in hot pursuit. And I'm betting Stafford's going to try to take this a little bit wider, keep his momentum moving. But coming down this hill, we can see Bobby Blazer trying desperately to stay in front of these two, because if Stafford can get around Ramos, we're going to see some really interesting positional changes. And to me, this is always the most interesting part of the track here in the S's. These cars coming through here are weaving around at speeds of over 70 miles an hour. And I mean, just incredible that they're able to hold it together as we make it through turn 8. And we're going to get ready to move toward turn 10. And we see them lining up, as Stafford now making the move on the inside of Carlos Ramos. Gets his way around Carlos Ramos here on the hairpin, lines himself up on the inside. We'll get ready to see them come down here toward the hairpin turn at turn 12, as this hard left turn is going to make all the difference, as Carlos Ramos still holding Stafford off as he tried the crossover move, and Stafford working alongside of him again, tries to get himself set up, but thinks better of it, as we are still very early in this race on lap number 7 of 48. Just about halfway through the first stage here, and we'll take a look at Brad Gunn, and it looks like Corey Burkert, I'm sorry. Looks like Corey Burkert just gets himself all kinds of hot here and blows through. That's something you can't always control. But then we'll take a look here at Brad Gunn in the number 36 Chevrolet. We see him going toward turn 1, and we see Brad just lock him up and completely blow that first turn. And I mean, something that's pretty I would say pretty normal here at COTA. And we'll take a look here at the turn 1 area, see if we can't get a better look at that, where you're coming up here as you're braking, that front of the car wants to hop, and once it comes back down, sometimes those wheels are stopped, even as you're trying to get yourself reset. And we can see Brad Gunn just having gotten that all the way wrong, and it takes a little while sometimes to get the car back under control. But speaking of control, Mike Wright has really turned things on here as he has opened himself up an 8.3 second gap back to Tim Trowbridge, who has now taken second position away from the 23 car of Austen Storey. Not really sure how Austen wound up off the lead lap, as it looks like he may have had himself a wreck here several laps ago. We'll take a look. Oh my. Austen just has it all wound up here, as he had actually had an incident just a little bit before that. Looks like he just swung that back end in. No damage per se, but he did take the opportunity to come down and get tires, which, of course, definitely a benefit this point in the race, because he knows that he's got a long way to go. And right now, he only needs to get around Tony Burt in the number 72 car. And there's a good bit of distance between the two of them. But if Tony Burt can get the lucky dog when we have the competition caution for the end of stage number 1, then that should solidify things for Austen to get the lucky dog for stage number 2, and of course get himself all lined up to make the run at 3. So I guess if you are going to make a mistake, you might as well do it early, as Tim Trowbridge getting ready to chase down the number 32 car of Ian Humphreys. Mike Wright gets himself here on the inside of Humphreys and puts him a lap down, works his way through turn 1 and dives down toward turn 2. So Mike Wright not wasting any time. But unfortunately, the scary thing here is, you know, even at this stage of the race, you're looking at possibly, you know, maybe even having that car get all the way back around. Everybody's going to get all bunched back up, so that restart, very important when we come back from the stage 1 break. Folks, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dave Regal on the Independence Racing Network here, bringing you Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. Let us know what you're thinking and who you're keeping an eye on, as we see a couple of folks watching and liking what we've got going on. The group chat is disabled for some reason for this live stream. Not sure what's going on, but that's a YouTube issue. So as we take a look here at Mike Wright, we will step aside and give a tip of the cap to our good friends and sponsors over at Northeastern Fire and Air.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
And folks, we want to welcome you back to the Independence Racing Network. I'm Dave Regal here, bringing you all of the action from Circuit of the Americas and the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series here on iRacing.com. Your race leader is Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford. We're on lap number 9 of 48, working our way toward that lap 14 stage break. And as we've mentioned before, once the 10th place car crosses the start-finish line on lap number 15, that will freeze the field and bring out the competition caution. And right now, that 10th place car is your series commissioner, Bob Nestor, in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota, as we see him making his way through the S's here on the right side of your screen. Things definitely heating up here at COTA, and quite frankly, I'm excited to see what's going to keep on happening, as now we've crossed over to lap 10. And right now, your top 5 are Mike Wright, Tim Trowbridge, Nicholas Breidenbach, Joe Stafford, and Bobby Blazer. And all of those drivers, very talented. We're watching them turn so many laps this season. And just really excited to see these guys here at a road course, which is so totally different from everything else that we do, as far as ovals. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of an oval-centric league, or an oval-centric series, as usually we're just turning left. But tonight, some right turns, some left turns, S's. We've really got it all here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, as we're taking a look at Tim Trowbridge, who trails Mike Wright by just 3.4 seconds. Mike had himself quite a lead built up earlier, as it appears that lead keeps shrinking, as he's now at 4.3 seconds between himself and Tim Trowbridge. Taking a look here at John S. Bawalda III in the number 51 Chevrolet. He is your new Tuesday night NASCAR Truck Series commissioner here in the SNN family of racing. And he has definitely stepped up to take the position that was left vacant just a few short hours ago. Currently, Bawalda's in 5th place in the standings and doesn't have a win yet. So he has managed to muscle himself into the top 5 of your season standings without a win, and keep himself held there pretty steadily. So something to definitely keep an eye on, someone to definitely keep an eye on. And speaking of the SNN family of racing, we do want to talk a little bit about our other racing series here in that SNN family. Of course, Cup Series is Sunday night. They are broadcast over on ESPN/Sim Racing Media. They are live in prime time every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. on YouTube. Look them up on SRM on YouTube. Then the Tuesday night trucks, which of course we were just talking about John Bawalda regarding. Tuesday night trucks are brought to you by the Performance Motor Network on Tuesday nights at 9:30. So a little bit later, but definitely something to worth watching. Again, now the trucks and the Xfinity series here in the SNN family of racing, they do run 100% length races. So there are stages built into them. There are, when we say 250, that's exactly what they would be running in real life at these tracks. So nothing to scoff at when you consider the amount of work that has to go into preparing and practicing, as we see Nestor getting just a little bit of smoke out that right rear. And we're going to keep an eye on Nestor here as he gets around Zach Vaughn in the number 91 Rowdy Toyota. Now Vaughn looking to his inside, not real sure what he's thinking here as these cars getting ready, trying to get a good view of them as they're coming into turn 19. And, it looks like Nestor just took himself right into the wall. We'll take a look at that real quick here. And we'll see exactly what happened with Bob Nestor. We see him getting ready to go in toward turn 19, and he just comes through hot. The back end breaks out, and he just noses the wall a little bit. Hopefully not a whole lot of damage, as it looks like he has gotten himself back on pace headed up toward turn one. Of course, following John Bawalda. And folks, this is NASCAR's second season at Circuit of the Americas. They were originally brought up in 2021. The decision was made during the 2020 season, well, actually after the 2020 season, to start racing at COTA. Cup Series, of course, was told that they were going to be here. Now the Xfinity, or now, of course, the next-gen cars, sorry. The next-gen cars were racing here yesterday for their second try. It's such an interesting thing when they only had 1 year of data to work on regarding the Cup Series. And, of course, now the Cup Series cars have gone to the next-gen cars. So, basically, it was wipe the slate clean all over again and see if they could make something of it. And quite a race on Sunday. Of course, then the Xfinity Series cars, which really haven't changed that much year to year. This is also the Xfinity Series second year at COTA. And, of course, a lot more data behind these cars now. Interesting little factoid here. Ross Chastain is the fastest Xfinity driver here with a lap time of 2 minutes 16.551 seconds. Tim Trowbridge in practice had ran himself a 2-minute 15-second time, and right now his fastest lap on track right now is 2 minutes 17.77 seconds. So when we talk about the simulation of iRacing, it's not just a game, it's a simulation, as these cars so good and so close as they've been laser scanned and data has been put into computer after computer to generate all of the information. And quite frankly, everything that you see has been almost taken down to bare nuts and bolts and, ones and zeros and twos to make sure that they get this simulation just right. As we have now completed 13 laps, we're going to take a look here at Tim Trowbridge as he is on lap number 13. Pit road should be closed now as we are approaching the end of stage number 1 here at COTA. We'll ride along with Tim Trowbridge on this final lap of the stage. Well, second to final lap of the stage. Coming up here once he gets back to the front stretch. And we see Trowbridge lining himself up here to take off for lap number 14, which will conclude that first stage once he makes his way back around and that 10th place car crosses the start-finish line for lap number 15. We'll see the end of stage number 1. So we see Trowbridge coming up here onto turn 1, gets himself a little loose. So those tires definitely burning in a little bit here as he is going to come rocketing down almost dirt track style. As you can see, that rear end of the car just wants to break out. And then we come into the S's. The S's here, very treacherous, especially if you get near those little yellow turtles here. And he just manages to get that car within a 64th of an inch here on those S's. So that'll end stage number 1 here at COTA. Your top 10 looks like there was some type of a pretty large crash as several cars all at once managed to crash. We'll check in with John Bawalda here first. As Bawalda may have just gotten himself off track a little bit. So That'll line things up a little bit differently here at the end of stage one as Tim Trowbridge, your stage one winner, followed by Bobby Blazer in the number 90 that's custom painted 35, but forgive us, that is the number 90 Ford driven by Bobby Blazer, followed by Carlos Ramos in third position, Mike Wright in fourth, of course, who had started the race in P1, followed by Nicholas Breidenbach, Joe Stafford, Dakota Cave, John Bawaldo III in eighth position, Bob Nestor in ninth, and Chad Sanner in 10th. So all of these cars going to be awarded some bonus points as from 10th through 1st, they're all awarded a bonus point per position. So we do see that, so basically Chad Sanner will get himself 1 bonus point, Bob Nestor 2, John Bawalda 3, and of course Tim Trowbridge, by the time you work your way up there, will receive 10 bonus points for winning this stage. As we see Trowbridge waiting to pick up that pace car. My goodness, I can't even imagine where the pace car is right now. As he is waiting to pick that up, and it looks almost like the pace car may be just behind him. There he is. As Trowbridge will slow down and come to darn near a stop as that iRacing.com pace car comes out with its lights on to get the to get the field all settled down.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
And welcome back to the Independence Racing Network on YouTube. I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone, bringing you all of the action from the green flag to the checkered flag on Monday night NASCAR's Xfinity Series Racing on iRacing.com. We're here just waiting for the field to get themselves all caught back up here, as we have now concluded stage number 1, as we have 15 of 48 laps complete here in this race, with Tim Trowbridge, your stage 1 winner, followed by Bobby Blazer, Carlos Ramos, Mike Wright, and Nicholas Breidenbach, your top 5 out of that last stage. So, of course, Joe Stafford, Dakota Cave, John S. Bawaldo III, Bob Nestor, and Chad Sanner all finishing out your top 10. They will all get themselves bonus points, of course. So a lot of race to go yet here, folks, as we are road racing at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. So glad to have you in with us tonight as we now take a look here at the cars coming through these last few turns. Getting ready to dive down pit road and get themselves some service. And we talked about it earlier. The entrance to pit road is very interesting here. As we're going to see Tim Trowbridge work himself through. And that entrance onto pit road, a very hard left just before the final turn onto the front stretch. And we see Trowbridge and everybody behind him take that hard left turn down pit road. And they will all be coming down for service as we see Trowbridge and all of those pit boards out waving wildly, guiding these drivers into their pit boxes here at Circuit of the Americas. It appears that Mike Wright may be the only driver in that top two. Actually, Mike Wright, Zach Vaughn, Chad Sanner, all opting not to take pit service this time, as Breidenbach, Trowbridge, Bobby Blazer, John Bawalda, Bob Nestor, Dakota Cave, Carlos Ramos, Chris Claude, Bryson Alexander, Joe Stafford, and Brad Gunn all coming down for pit service. And we see Chris Claude getting a little bit of damage repaired here following the number 20 car of Bryson Alexander off of pit road, as they will get themselves back out here. Now, the transition from pit road into turn one is a tough one. It's misleading because as a driver, you're tempted to follow that red line on the inside, but it makes the car so upset when you're there on the inside that you have to actually come out and kind of swing wide to have that ability to come back out into turn one without hitting anything. And interesting development here, as I mentioned, Mike Wright opting not to come down pit road for service, your race leader once again, here on lap number 16. So we should be getting ready to go back green flag racing any moment now, as those pace car lights are on. So we will have another lap of caution here. And we will step aside and take a break as we are under caution for the end of stage one at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Just such a beautiful sight here. And you see here in the middle of the track, that big tall tower. Now that tall tower is 251 feet tall, and it's an observation tower. And from there, the viewer is actually able to see all of the racetrack, of course, a 360-degree view of the racetrack, and even some pretty scenic views of Austin, Texas, from what I've read. So if you ever make it down to Circuit of the Americas, make sure that you put that on your list of things to do. Get into that observation tower as the car is getting down back to the front stretch. We'll see those lights here on the pace car turn off, as that pace car going to lead them back up into turn one with a lap to go under caution We're now on lap number 17 of 48. We'll be marching toward lap number 30 to complete stage number 2. As the 31 car of Aaron Mack did not come down to pit, he will get the free pass, but he's got a long way to try to catch up to the rest of this field. And something that's always interesting when you see guys trying to catch up to the field is whether or not they make a mistake, and hopefully Aaron can just get himself all the way back around before we go back green. And we see Aaron Mack here in the number 31 Toyota Supra trying to catch up with the rest of the field as he works his way through the carousel. And still quite a ways to go to catch up to Mike Wright and the rest of the field. Of course, Aaron trying to get behind Corey Burkett in the number 13 Ford. And Corey, of course, just about your last car on the lead lap, but, you know, Aaron's going to wind up at the end of the longest line, which, to be completely honest, in a situation like this with so many laps to go and such a long track, probably not even worth the headache as these cars get themselves all lined up. Folks, if you're just joining us, I'm Dave Regal with the Independence Racing Network, bringing you the Xfinity Series NASCAR Xfinity Series from Monday Night NASCAR. We are the Independence Racing Network, and we are part of the SNN family of racing series. SNN Cup Series, of course, broadcast over with our good friends at Sim Racing Media on Sunday nights in prime time at 8:30 p.m. And tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m., the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks will be broadcast over on the Performance Motor Network with our good friends over there. So lots of racing here amongst the three tiers. And to be completely honest, there's really no bad race to watch. I mean, road courses are definitely different, as we've always noticed, but things definitely starting to heat up now on this particular season as Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford is going to get himself ready to take that green flag. As the pace car lights are out, we are here and ready to rock and roll. And we see those pace car lights out. He is going to get ready, of course, in that iRacing.com pacing Porsche, as he is going to get ready to take that dive down pit road any moment now. The entrance to pit road, always very interesting here as it's a hard left turn. So, folks, buckle up and get ready for stage 2 as we are about to bring that to you. Mike Wright has his hand on the gear shift, ready to rock and roll. We will be on lap number 18 when we go back green here, as we are underway again at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Mike Wright takes the field back toward turn 1. Gets it all wound up, and you can see how that car just bounces up into turn 1. He gets real slow as Chad Sanner misses the turn, couldn't get it wound up enough, but Sanner gets himself back into line pretty quickly. As now we head down into the S's. Bobby Blazer and Zach Vaughn in the number 91 Toyota Supra, sponsored by Rowdy. they get all lined up for the S's. And tell you what, this is quite an opportunity here to watch all of these cars just like a beautiful snake coming through here. And we head back down toward the back stretch. And we'll take a quick look at what happened with Chad Sanner on that incident here. As it appeared that Sanner had just managed to get himself a little too hot going up the hill into turn one. Sanner couldn't get it woed down, gets on the outside of Mike Wright and just takes it far too wide. So that'll definitely be a 1X, but he managed to get himself back in the line. And like I said just a moment ago, we are under green flag conditions again on lap number 18 of 48, headed toward lap number 30 in stage number 2 of Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series racing action here on the Independence Racing Network. And if you're just tuning in on YouTube, feel free to turn on those bell notifications, subscribe to us, and you'll get notified every Monday night when we are ready to go green here on the Independence Racing Network. Mike Wright opened himself up about a 1-second lead now over Zach Vaughn. But right now the race to watch is Bobby Blazer chasing Zach Vaughn down as if he owes him milk money from lunch. And we see Zach Vaughn still being chased down by Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford. Taking a look here as they are separated by just 0.2 of a second, but now it appears that Zach is probably going to let Bobby around him on the inside here of the hairpin turn. As at this stage in the race with 19 laps in and so many to go, all but 30 to go now, it's not worth that kind of a headache. We look back here to Carlos Ramos and Joe Stafford going at it hammer and tongs once again as they are side by side here just behind Zach Vaughn. As now we see Carlos Ramos, and it looks like the number 91 of Zach Vaughn had just gotten himself a little bit sideways as now he is pinned down on the inside, which forces Ramos to the outside of that turn, but Ramos will maintain his position in his lane and keep right on the inside of Vaughn as Vaughn now takes it to the grass to avoid getting pushed out toward that sand pit. As now we see Vaughn getting a good run on the inside as they are now fighting their way closer to Joe Stafford. Stafford about 1.1 seconds ahead of these two racers as now they have gone single file and they'll wait for another period here where they can make another attack. And we see Corey Burkett had just gotten himself wrapped up a moment ago. Yet again in the number 13 Ford. Just couldn't get it woed down going into that hard left. But he manages to get back out on track and keep chasing them down. It's Corey Burkett running in 17th position. Tonight, your big mover so far is the number 97 Chevrolet of Carlos Ramos. Running in 4th right now. He had qualified in 19th. So up 15 positions is Ramos here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Your fastest lap tonight was just laid down by Tim Trowbridge at 2 minutes, 16 seconds, .4. And now I had mentioned this a moment ago, and hopefully you were paying attention. but the Xfinity Series track record is 2 minutes 16 seconds .551. So Tim Trowbridge laying down a faster lap than Ross Chastain by about a tenth of a second. So congratulations to Tim Trowbridge, as he has managed to lay down the fastest lap, which would be a record if we weren't sitting in racing rigs in our homes. Taking a look at John Bawalda III, running in 9th position behind Dakota Cave, gets a little bit too close and almost had to come to a complete stop behind Dakota Cave. But now running ahead of Dakota Cave, John Bawalda is, as he managed to get back around the front of him. And we'll see when he managed to get around him right here, as we see Bawalda working the inside. And it's almost like at a track like COTA here, these drivers have to just wedge one another out, as Bawalda just takes the short way through that, and he sacrifices a little bit of time. But as far as positioning, it makes that outside driver check up some and manages to get them to just take one quick breath before they keep going at it. 21 laps complete of 48, working our way toward lap number 30 to the end of stage 2. Mike Wright, your race leader, with a 1.3 second lead over Bobby Blazer. Pretty much the thinnest margin he's had so far this evening, but Blazer holding off Joe Stafford in the number 3 position. Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, driving the number 57 Chevrolet, chasing Blazer down. Carlos Ramos running in 4th position in his number 97 Chevrolet from Columbia, South Carolina. And he is a naval officer living the dream. So thank you for your service, Carlos, as we are glad to have you here on the racetrack tonight. And he is followed by Nicholas Breidenbach, speaking of the Navy, in that number 24 Navy Chevrolet from Orlando, Florida. Tim Trowbridge in 6th position right now in the number 74 Ford. Zach Vaughn in the number 91, running 7th position right now. Chad Sanner in 8th place right now in the number 59 Chevrolet from Smithfield, Pennsylvania. John Bawalda, your Tuesday night NASCAR Truck Series commissioner, newly appointed, in the number 51 Chevrolet from Bel Air, Maryland, is running in 9th position. And Dakota Cave just edged out Bob Nestor here, who now has about a 3-second lead over Nestor from Fishersville in the number 30 Toyota, rounding out your top 10. So lots of racing going on tonight, as at a road course you more so start to look for the race within a race. You know, I mean, we're looking here at Dakota Cave, and we can see in the battle box, which will appear here in the right-hand side of your screen, where Dakota Cave keeping himself about a 3-second distance ahead of Nestor, and about a 1.5 seconds, maybe about 1 3/4 second at one point, John Bawalda III. So Dakota Cave running in a pretty comfortable position. He can just sit there and log laps. But we're looking ahead here to Joe Stafford, who has just the slimmest of margins over Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford with about 0.6 of a second. That number 57 Chevrolet from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, working Bobby Blazer over, dragging him along this racetrack, doing his best to keep it right here in P2. And folks, we will step aside and go side by side as we hear from our good friends over at Buttkicker.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker. The future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
And folks, welcome back to Circuit of the Americas. I'm Dave Regal here with the Independence Racing Network. We are on lap number 26, working our way to lap number 30 in stage 2 here in Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series action, live from Austin, Texas. Your race leader is Mike Wright, being chased down by Joe Stafford. Stafford now trailing him by just about a tenth of a second, is working on taking this lead away from him as Stafford works the inside, gets himself set up here to get around Mike Wright, as he will now secure the lead away from Wright, who is the only car that didn't come into pit at the beginning of pit cycles here at the end of stage 1. So Joe Stafford on 15-lap newer tires, able to get around Wright, who didn't come in with everybody else, but he came in about 3 laps earlier on lap number 12, which did secure the lead for him for quite a while, but it looks like Stafford just could not be stopped, as he has now opened nearly a 1-second lead over Mike Wright. So things definitely heating up for him, as he has got the momentum now, and he intends to keep on building it. Bobby Blazer running in third position in the number 90 Ford. Of course, that's marked as the number 35, but that's a mistake that Trading Paints and iRacing can't really get together on, so unfortunately, as he gets that butt end of the car just sliding around a little bit, as those tires are starting to get real slick and warm here in the later parts of this stage, as we are now at lap number 26. Well, with 26 laps to go on lap number 23. And we see Joe Stafford get himself around turn 1 with relative ease, as he is going to just start setting the pace here. And we'll take a look as he comes into the S's. My goodness, this man here keeping it right between the lines, as Stafford in the number 57 Chevrolet gets it all the way through the S's. A wide turn there. Lines himself all the way up now for turn number 8 and 10. We're going to see Stafford poke the nose of this black number 57 Chevrolet up over there and come down toward the hairpin. We're going to follow along here as Mike Wright and Bobby Blazer in pursuit, but not really able to hold hold off one another to chase down Stafford. Heads down the backstretch here toward turn number 12. And we see these cars working through the arena section. Not really the carousel yet, but we will see that momentarily as we're getting ready to watch them make those laps through there. As we see Joe Stafford leading them through. Stafford working into the carousel, closely followed by Mike Wright and Bobby Blazer. but still has opened himself up a distance of about 3 3/4 seconds with 25 laps to go in the race overall. We are in the middle of lap number 24 here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And folks, if you are just tuning in, I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone. And when I say Monday Night NASCAR, it is part of the SNN or Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing series. And Sunday Night NASCAR features Cup Series racing, broadcast over on Sim Racing Media at 8:30, so in prime time. SRM has about 3 other races before that, and that, of course, is your nightcap in prime time. Then Monday nights, of course, we are here at 9 p.m. every Monday. Then Tuesday nights, as we've mentioned before, John Espawalda III is the new commissioner of Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks. And Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks are broadcast at 9:30 on a Tuesday by the Performance Motor Network. And we are glad to be partnered and friends with all of these series and all of these broadcasting companies, because we are bringing you some of the best racing on iRacing as far as I'm concerned, as we have now gone 25 laps, 24 laps, and we're in the middle of lap number 25 with no real issues. The race radio is nice and quiet as these guys are working their way through the turns here at COTA. We're going to take a look at Tony Burt, Tony Burt in the number 72 car. This Chevrolet in the middle of your screen just comes in way too hot in the hairpin, has to collect himself as he slides to the outside with the 13 car of Corey Burkett losing a little bit of steam behind him. And it appears that Tony Burt may have had yet another incident shortly thereafter. We'll take a look at it as we see Corey Burkett behind him. And yep, looks like Tony Burt just had it all kinds of hot coming up to turn 1 here at Circuit of the Americas. So definitely a lot to keep an eye on tonight, as this track is so big that it's almost hard to keep track of everybody out there. And we see Ian Humphreys in the 32 car taking this turn just a little bit wide. But of course, we take a look up here at Mike Wright, who, of course, as we mentioned, is on about 3 lap older tires than everybody else. Just couldn't get through the end of turn 12 there. But of course, gathers it together and continues marching. Joe Stafford with a 6.5 second lead over Bobby Blazer in the number 90. So Joe Stafford, right now, you are the man, as we now have 25 laps in the books, working on lap number 26 here at Circuit of the Americas. Taking a look from Bobby Blazer back to Tim Trowbridge here, as we just want to let you hear the sounds of these cars making their way through the racetrack, as Tim Trowbridge chasing down Bobby Blazer here in the closing laps of stage number 2. Looks like Tim Trowbridge wants P2 and those extra bonus points as we move closer and closer toward the end of this stage. So lots going on tonight here, as we have had several drivers get themselves wrapped up in some incidents. Of course, last year's race winner, Austen Storey, had gotten himself wrapped up fairly early in this race. And he is actually not even out on track right now, which is a real shame, because I think if anybody would have had the opportunity to win this race and go back-to-back, it definitely would have been Austen Storey, as he is one heck of a skilled road course driver. And road course driving, something that is not natural to NASCAR drivers. Of course, we're all used to left turn, left turn, left turn. You know, is it loose or is it tight on exit? And here, so many different turns and so many different, you know, entrances and exits, whether it's right or left. These guys working their tails off to keep things under control. And we'll just take a quick peek in here at the cockpit of Tim Trowbridge as he's working himself around. And we can see that Tim Trowbridge is fighting a loose car here as he's got himself hot going down toward the hairpin. And of course, that's indicative of just the very fact that, you know, tires are getting a little old. They haven't been in. He hasn't been in since lap number 15. Mike Wright in the number 38 hasn't been in since lap number 12. We'll take a look here inside of his cockpit, as well as we can see he's a little bit more comfortable than Tim Trowbridge was. We're going to see how he gets through the hairpin turn, as he's got to get it slowed all the way down and on the inside there of the number 13, driven by Corey Burkert. Corey, of course, did just come down on lap number 11, so he's also on older tires. Matched just about up with Mike Wright, maybe older by about one lap, so things definitely coming together for Mike Wright as he has kept himself up in that top 10, top 5 all evening long. Riding along with Bob Nestor now from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. As we can see the speeds that they're going to, as Bob was just about down to 34 miles per hour, and coming into the carousel area, we see him down to just about 35, 40 again. And we see Bob working his way through the arena, and it is just an absolute nightmare to get through there. And we can see his speed changing ever constantly, as there's no real long stretch here where you can get yourself nice and comfortable. And we're going to see Nestor here coming through the front stretch, making his way up to turn 1, following Dakota Cave in the number 30 Toyota. This pair of Toyotas working their way through. And it looks like Bob and Dakota are both able to take just about the same line. So, but we do see Dakota with that rear end sliding out just a little bit, with Bob in close pursuit. Of course, Zach Vaughn in the number 91 Rowdy Toyota managing to get through there with relative ease, as we can follow these drivers through the S's and out toward the backstretch. And we see Nestor and Cave coming down toward the hairpin, getting themselves all set to make their way through, as Nestor takes that curb just a little tight. And we will follow him on his far chase camera going down toward turn 12. And we can see right here on his dashboard, he gets himself up to 105 miles an hour, 140, and now has to stand on that brake. So he goes from 140 miles per hour to 40 miles per hour in the blink of an eye, as he had to be standing on that brake pedal coming into that stretch and that turn there at the end of the back stretch on turn 12. And we do see Tim Trowbridge coming in for pit service. So he will take tires and fuel a little bit early here on lap number 28, which of course pit road is about to close, so he's coming in at just the right time. as perhaps Tim Trowbridge actually had to serve a pass-through penalty. Of course, I say pass-through penalty, and I guess I should explain. iRacing.com does have incident points. They do continually monitor the abilities and attitudes of the drivers, and you get points. We call them X's and so on and so forth in the racing community itself. But the way that this works, and I can see if I can explain this a little bit better. If you come down the front stretch and you get a little bit off to the side, maybe you catch a little bit of grass, that's 1X. If you hit another driver, that's 4 X's. If you hit the wall, which is generally something that you would experience on an oval course, on an oval track, that's a 2X, depending on how hard you hit the wall. But car-to-car contact, always 4. Now, there's 2 levels of penalties then for that. At 17X, so after 17 incident points, you do have to serve a pass-through penalty on pit road, which, of course, after they issue that pass-through penalty, you then have 3 laps to serve that penalty. And, of course, Tim wants to make sure that he serves that before the competition caution that ends stage 2. Then at 25X, which yours truly experienced last night in the Cup Series, you're disqualified. So definitely something to keep in mind as these drivers, they are trying to drive safe. They're trying to get around each other as Joe Stafford leads the field here with about a 14.9 second lead over Bobby Blazer. We see these drivers getting ready to wrap up stage number 2 as they are now on lap 29 as Joe Stafford crosses the start-finish line here at Circuit of the Americas. Taking a look at your pole sitter, Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford Performance Ford. He's got that Mustang going down toward turn 2, works the inside. And I got to tell you, I love watching these cars come through the S's as we are going to see Mike Wright here in our drone cam work his way through the S's, avoiding those yellow turtles, which can absolutely destroy your day as they can hop your car up into no man's land. Of course, followed by Tim Trowbridge. Tim not really losing much track position at all, serving that penalty in the number 74 Ford, has himself a nice solid 5th position with 8 seconds in front of him and 23 seconds all the way back to Dakota Cave in the number 30 Toyota. Dakota has about 5 seconds between himself and Bob Nestor, followed by John Bawalda, Chad Sanner, and Bryson Alexander rounding out your top 10. Bryson following Sanner by about 10 seconds and leading Chris Claude by about 9.5 seconds. So plenty of space for him to take his time and get through these turns, get through this track, and make it to the end of stage number 2. Of course, we are on lap number 29 now. Once Joe Stafford comes across the line on lap number 31, we'll be waiting for the 10th place car, which at this moment would be Bryson Alexander, to cross the start-finish line, and that will freeze the field and bring out that competition caution to end stage number 2 here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. I'm Dave Regal on the Independence Racing Network, bringing you all of the live action. We are brought to you proudly by RS Button Boxes, our good friends over at Buttkicker. And the Independence Racing Network is brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air. And that, with the yellow flag flying, will end stage number 2 here at COTA, Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, with your stage 2 winner being Joe Stafford in the number 57 Chevrolet, And we will try to get him on the radio in just one quick moment. Joe Stafford, unfortunately, not in Discord this evening, as I was just looking for him here. I guess about the closest we have there would be Bobby Blazer, and I'm looking for him in Discord. It seems like nobody's in Discord. Kind of interesting. I was really hoping to get a hold of Joe Stafford, your Stage 2 winner. So your Stage 2 results are as follows. Joe Stafford leading the way up 15 positions from where he started to take that green and white checkered flag in the number 57 Chevrolet, followed by Bobby Blazer. There we are, Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, followed by Bobby Blazer from York, Pennsylvania. So a couple of PA guys atop the leaderboard, with Carlos Ramos from Columbia, South Carolina in the number 97 Chevrolet. Mike Wright in the 38 Ford from Greensboro, North Carolina. Tim Trowbridge in the number 74 Ford rounds out your top five. He is followed by Dakota Cave in the number 30 Toyota from Fishersville, with Bob Nestor in the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. John S. Bawalda III, your new Tuesday night Truck Series commissioner, in the number 51 Chevrolet from Bel Air, Maryland. Chad Sanner in the number 59 from Smithfield, Pennsylvania. And Bryson Alexander from New York in the number 20 Toyota. So one thing that I have noticed is here in the top 10, we have quite a few Pennsylvania guys. A couple of us from the 610 or the 215, and of course Bobby Blazer out there from York being from the 717. So Pennsylvania represented well in the top 10 here. And as we step aside, we will hear from our good friends over at Buttkicker and Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
And folks, we want to welcome you back to Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. I'm Dave Regal here with the Independence Racing Network, and if you're just tuning in on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we are live on Monday Night NASCAR. You are watching Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series Racing, part of the SNN family of racing series. SNN Cup Series, of course, is broadcast on a Sunday night in prime time at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Sim Racing Media over on YouTube and on Facebook, if I remember correctly. Then on Tuesday nights, so tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m., the Performance Motor Network takes over the broadcast duties for the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks, and new commissioner John Espewalda will be having his debut race as commissioner in that series tomorrow night. So glad to have him there in that position. So just going to quick try to check in with John here on the Independence Racing Network. John Bawalda, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, good run so far tonight. You're down about 4 positions from where you qualified, but you, sir, the pride of Bel Air, Maryland, keeping that number 51 Chevrolet competitive as you're coming into pit road here. We don't want to mess you up too bad. We'll wait for you to get into your box.
I'm good now. I'm in the box.
So tomorrow night, your debut night as commissioner of Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks. How do you feel?
Well, I just hope I don't let anybody down. I just want to make sure that I keep this as much of a seamless transition as possible. I look forward to it, and I'm kind of excited that I fell into this role because the Truck Series is definitely my favorite.
Absolutely. Now, if I remember correctly, this is your second year in the SNN family of racing series, correct?
Say, like, I came in like 2 or 3 weeks before the playoffs last season, so I wouldn't say second full season, but yeah, pretty much.
I mean, listen, it's absolutely a big undertaking, and I'm sure that you've got everything under control, and I know that Chris has faith in you, and you've got Chris and Bob there at your side, guiding you through the process. I know that there's a lot of work that you've accomplished in the last, literally 24 hours. So
yeah,
we'll
it was a lot.
definitely be there to support you over on Performance Motor Network at 9:30 tomorrow night. So glad to have you. And how does the car feel overall out there on track?
Well, I've been trying to make some pit stop adjustments and everything to get it. The first stage. That's why I dropped back so much. Was I was just getting loose. I think I just didn't have enough heat in the tires or air pressure, so I made an air pressure adjustment. Second stage felt a lot better, but still a little bit loose, so I bumped the pressure up a little bit more. Hopefully, I didn't do it too much this time, but this final stage will definitely tell. And in regards to Chris and Bob bringing me on board and everything, I definitely appreciate their faith in me to lead the Truck Series. And if I can, keep everybody happy and keep the league as half as packed as it was before, then we'll call it a win.
Absolutely, brother. Real quick before we let you go, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Well, I want to thank everybody on the team. A few of my drivers weren't able to make it tonight, but Jacked Out Motorsports. I don't know if you guys are familiar with us. We build NASCAR simulators. Tony and I both have full-size NASCARs inside our house with triple 49-inch ultra-wide monitors all around it. It's a bit of a spectacle. I'm actually live streaming right now, and I got a couple different views of the race car itself. Thank tonight's sponsors on the car, Outdoor Partnerships, which provided a roadside billboard for us, and we're able to promote the league SNN for the series premiere, series season opener at Daytona. So they've been a huge help for us and for the league, and just wanted to give them a shout out on the track tonight.
All right, man. Well, listen, we'll get you back to your race chat because we don't want to hold you up anymore, but thank you for your time. I very much appreciate you. and we will get you right up there to Jack Dow Motorsports. Folks, we want to thank John Bawalda for joining us here in the broadcast booth, as he is definitely swimming in the deep end of the pool, so to speak, as he is going to be leading the Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series in replacement of the last commissioner, who has moved on to a different endeavor, as we've got about another lap or so, lap and a half of caution. It appears that the pace car lights will be turning out this time, and we'll see if we can't find another interview. And it appears that Chad Sanner also not in race chat tonight. So guys must be in there in different Discord servers. Just as a peek behind the curtain, Discord is how the drivers can talk to one another on their teams without interfering with other teams, so there's not uncontrolled race chatter. And these guys, they work all week long together as teammates and partners to get these cars just right, as our friend John was just saying. So definitely glad to see these drivers out here as they're working together. And like I said, Discord is a program or an app where drivers can talk to one another. I mean, we have a general race chat through iRacing, but basically that's for calling out crashes and wrecks and things like that, where Discord can be more of, hey, this isn't working for me, and maybe your teammate can give you a little bit of a different idea of what to do to fix your car, make it run a little bit faster, maybe see how it handles a little bit better for each driver. As we are getting ready to go back green, Chad Sanner, your race leader, Nicholas Breidenbach in the number 24 Chevrolet behind him, with Zach Vaughn in third, Joe Stafford in fourth, Carlos Ramos in fifth, Bobby Blazer in that number 90 Ford starting in sixth, with Mike Wright in seventh, Tim Trowbridge in eighth, Dakota Cave in ninth, and Bob Nestor in that number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, rounding out your top 10. So getting ready to go back green here at COTA. We're glad to have you with us. I'm Dave Riegel here in the Independence Racing Network broadcast booth, bringing you all of the action from the green flag to the checkered flag here. And speaking of green flags, in the next few moments here, we will see that green flag be waving. And COTA, or Circuit of the Americas, whichever you prefer, COTA is definitely a different kind of racetrack. There are right turns, left turns, no banking basically whatsoever. The only thing that really can affect these cars as far as gripping is elevation changes. You know, we see here at the end of the front stretch and entering turn one, these cars, that whole front end of the car comes up while these drivers are braking. So, you know, that can unsettle the car. So it takes a lot of skill to get the car woed down just enough to get them through that first turn. Then, of course, the S's with all of those yellow turtles that are built in there. Actually, fun fact, the yellow turtles only exist in iRacing. They weren't in the real life race on Sunday or Saturday or Friday. So not really sure, or not Friday, but Sunday and Saturday. Not really sure how that wound up as we take a look now at Chad Sanner on the left side of your screen here, as we will go back, get my mug off that screen, as we see Sanner in that black and red Chevrolet following the pace car, whose lights are now off. So that pace car getting ready to dive onto pit road, and we'll get ready to go green. And when we go green, we will have 14 laps to the end of this piece here in Austin, Texas at Circuit of the Americas. And as we come through that turn, the pace car will set himself up to dive in front of Chad Sanner and go down pit road one more time here. We will be 14 laps to go, as I mentioned, so get your popcorn, call some friends, strap in, and get ready for stage number 3 here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And we see Zach Vaughn working over the rear bumper of Chad Sanner, coming through those S's. And things starting to heat up here with 14 laps to go at COTA. And we see everybody getting themselves all settled in. And while they get themselves settled in, we will step aside and let you turn it up on the Independence Racing Network. Folks, if you're just joining us, I'm Dave Riegel here in the Independence Racing Network broadcast booth. You're riding along right now with Bobby Blazer, who is chasing down Tim Trowbridge as we work our way through the carousel. And it appears, my goodness, as we can see now, Trowbridge chasing down Zach Vaughn here in the number 91 Toyota. That white car being chased down by the 74 of Trowbridge, with Bobby Blazer getting loose behind Trowbridge. Joe Stafford, your race leader, is up 15 positions from where he started. And I got to tell you, Stafford at this point has himself dialed in. The Philadelphia, Pennsylvania native going into turn number 1 here. not afraid whatsoever to take this one by the horns as he gets just a little bit loose, but he's not even fazed by it as Stafford comes through and back into these S's that we have been talking about all night, as it is just a challenging portion of the racetrack, and we can see without touching a single turtle, he manages to get through. And when we see him get through there, it's a thing of beauty as each of these drivers somehow able to work their way through there time and time again. As we take a look at Mike Wright and then Bobby Blazer in that number 90 chasing down Chad Sanner. Sanner, of course, looking behind Trowbridge, and really Trowbridge is only ahead of him by about 0.8 of a second, trying to get the run, but now Sanner and Blazer side by side going into the hairpin. Blazer with the advantage. They're going hammer and tongs at it right now, as my partner over at ESPN would say. And if you do like speaking of ESPN, if you do like hanging out with me tonight, tomorrow night over on ESPN, part of the Sim Racing Media family of broadcasting, myself and Tony Trapasso will be bringing you some Truck Series action from the Western States Racing League at 10:15 p.m. Eastern from Long Pond, Pennsylvania, just about an hour and a half north of our broadcast studio here for the Independence Racing Network outside of Philadelphia. The Western States Racing League on season number 46, going to be racing at the Tricky Triangle. And then Wednesday night, myself and Mr. James Riles from ESPN, we will be calling another race here at Circuit of the Americas together for the Way She Goes Racing League at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. So lots of racing. If you like hanging out with me, you'll like hanging out with my partners and I, as we are quite a team over at ESPN. Glad to be with them, as it looks like Carlos Ramos may have gotten himself maybe a little bit off track here. We'll take a look as Ramos just gets onto the grass, has himself all the way turned around, coming back to the front stretch, but manages to gather it together to stay out of harm's way and hopefully get out of the way, of course, of Chris Claude, who is chasing him down in the number 10 Toyota, sponsored by Dasani. And Chris probably just picked himself up about a 1X as he is alongside Nicholas Breidenbach. And Chris, not usually the chasing type, is on Breidenbach's tail there. Go, wow! Let's take a look at that. That's exactly what I've been trying to look for all evening long. As we can see here, let's double check this. That should be Zach Vaughn. There we go. And we see how Zach Vaughn can just absolutely get himself all kinds of tied up. We're going to take a closer look here at this turtle position, and we're going to keep an eye right at it as Zach just bounces that car all the way up. My goodness. Thank goodness he was able to keep it all together. And we take a look at Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford chasing down Joe Stafford, but Stafford just out here cruising, for lack of a better term, as Stafford himself has a 6.13 second lead. This is the Independence Racing Network. We are brought to you by Northeastern Fire and Air, and the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker. And I haven't talked about it enough tonight, but I do want to make sure that we are talking about it. Buttkicker and RS Button Boxes have really stepped up for this league tonight, as they have been gracious enough to sponsor us with several prizes for these drivers in this league. Now, the champion of the league, so at the end of the season in about November, whoever wins the playoffs, he will win a Buttkicker and his choice of an iFlag or $100. Second and third place will win a Buttkicker each. Fourth place gets a little hairy. Whatever the champion didn't choose, is what fourth place will win. So either the I flag or $100. Now the top non-playoff driver will then get whatever's left. So whether it's the I flag or the $100. So lots of prizes in this league tonight, or this season, as these guys are out here racing for more than just bragging rights. They're out here racing for some, for lack of a better term, some fabulous prizes. And, you know, it's not chump change. You know, an I flag and a butt kicker are not free by any stretch of the term. So to be out here and know that you have something like that on the line, that encourages guys to come out here where, you know, you can see that we only had 22 cars at the start of this piece. You know, now these 22 drivers are the ones that are definitely committed to make sure that they're there in the playoffs come the end of the year. And that way they can be racing for that championship. And, of course, some awesome prizes from our good friends over at Buttkicker and RS Button Boxes. And speaking of Buttkicker, we'll take a moment now and we'll hear from them on the Independence Racing Network, bringing you Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series on iRacing.com.
With the Buttkicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Buttkicker, the future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have, breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today
And folks, we have 9 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Taking a look at Joe Stafford, your race leader, with a 9-second lead over Tim Trowbridge, who's running in second position. Stafford up 15 positions from where he started this piece. So he has definitely been the most improved driver overall. Of course, next behind him would be up 11 positions, Carlos Ramos in the number 97 Chevrolet. We want to take a look back at Ian Humphreys, who got it all wrong here. And we'll just take a brief look at him. As, of course, on road courses, everybody gets so spread out as it looks like he just locked up the wheels going into turn 1 and gets himself resettled back into 2. There's always something going on a road course like this. Wow! Didn't see that one coming, as it looks like Carlos Ramos just came right into the door without even thinking of John Bawalda. Not really sure how that could have been avoided by Bawalda. In fact, let's take a look here from a little bit of a different perspective. And we see Bawalda just turns early while Ramos gets in on his inside. Ramos not expecting him to be there, but at the same time, Bawalda not expecting to have to get out of the way like that. So definitely a racing deal, especially someplace like COTA, where things like that can happen all the time. Folks, if you are just tuning in on YouTube.com, we welcome you in. I'm Dave Regal here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series booth on the Independence Racing Network. Glad to have you in. And we have 8 laps to go now at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. If you're just tuning in, feel free to subscribe to the Independence Racing Network. Only takes a second to click that subscribe button. Give us a like. Let us know whether or not you like what you see here tonight. And turn on those bell notifications. That way you get a notification every time we go live here on a Monday night for Xfinity Series racing action. Of course, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, brought to you by RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker, is part of the Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing. And Sunday nights are Cup Series at 8:30 p.m. Then Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. is the Truck Series. So lots of racing for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And a lot of these drivers are together all 3 of those days. They get to know each other very well. I myself, came into this league as a stranger, and, now I feel like family. I mean, Chris Claude, the commissioner of Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series, he oversees just about everything in the league and has assembled himself quite a team of leaders, including first-year commissioner of the Xfinity Series, Bob Nestor, who drives the number 29 Relative Properties Toyota Supra, running in 9th position right now. He is your commissioner this evening. Of course, Chris Claude, as I just mentioned, driving the number 10 Toyota Supra, sponsored by Dasani Water. Going down that backstretch, we're going to take a look here as he gets ready to go into turn 12. This is an impressive setup, as it looks like Brad Gunn is on his outside, gets around Chris, and now Chris is hung out to drive with Bawalda on the inside. Chris going to maintain that line that he's in and wait for these fellas to go single file as Bawalda spins himself out. And we'll take a look closer at that one if we can. Looks like we're going to get a pretty good shot here if we push play. Here it comes. As we see Bawalda just come in way hot, get on the back bumper of Brad Gunn there in his Chevrolet, and just spins himself out. So, unfortunately, that's racing. But that shuffles things up here toward the end of the lead lap cars, as John Bawalda now running in 14th position with Chris Claude running in 13th position. We take a look at Bobby Blazer in the number 90 Ford, which, just so you folks know at home, although that it says 35 on there, on iRacing scoring, he is listed as the number 90. What Bobby has going on there is a custom paint from tradingpaints.com, more than likely. And what happens is, with that custom number, it bakes the paint, or bakes the number into the paint, and it can't be changed, plain and simple. So, that being said, although that his car is permanently numbered 35, in Monday Night NASCAR, he would be the number 90 if he had that car corrected. But not the end of the world. We're just glad to see that beautiful paint scheme, as we have several of them here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. And we are now at 7 laps to go, as Joe Stafford, the Pied Piper of Austin, Texas, has a 9.37 second lead over Tim Trowbridge. Six laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Joe Stafford, your race leader, with about an 8.8 second lead over Tim Trowbridge. Everybody else seems to be falling pretty far behind, as Mike Wright is 13 seconds back now, running in 3rd position all by his lonesome. Bobby Blazer in 4th place, Chad Sanner in 5th. Zach Vaughn in 6th, Carlos Ramos in 7th, Dakota Cave in 8th, Bob Nestor in 9th, and Aaron Mack in 10th. Folks, I'm not trying to jinx anything here, but at the moment, it definitely seems like it's quite a clean race overall. Not too many penalties have been assessed, for pass-throughs and things like that, as we did see Tim Trowbridge take that penalty earlier. One of the few from what I gather. So good on him as we see Sanner and Blazer going at it hammer and tongs toward these final 2 turns. And we see them in the carousel making their way through here. When I say hand over fist, I mean these guys are working it. I mean, these 2 cars front to back with only less than a half a second separating them. They work their way through this, and we'll follow them all the way through here. As it appears, Sanner and Blazer working as hard as they can, quite frankly, as we're going to see them come through these final 2 turns. We'll keep an eye on these 2 drivers. And we see right now Sanner trailing Blazer by just a hair as they get ready to go down the hill toward turn 2. These 2 drivers going to be working their tails off as they enter the S's. And quite an impressive look at these drivers as they are not going to be giving up on each other anytime soon. This is definitely quite a race to watch as they make their way through the S's. And toward turn number 8, we can see all of this forming together as it looks like Brad Gunn has gotten himself all kinds of wrapped up. And of course, replay didn't want to work with me there, so we'll try this again. Here we go. We see Brad Gunn here in the number 36 Camaro. Gets himself a little loose, but manages to keep it on track. Not sure if iRacing decided that he had lost control of the car or not, but he has John Bawalda III chasing him. But we're keeping an eye on Sanner and Blazer here as Sanner makes his way around. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a look at that again. Oh, and Sanner gets himself off of the racing surface. We'll take a look from a little bit further away. Sanner coming in all kinds of hot, can't get the car woed down and just shoots right through the hairpin, which is something that happens so many times throughout a night here at COTA. And yet again, we look up to Joe Stafford with almost a 9-second lead over Tim Trowbridge here as he comes up to turn 1 and gets himself set in to head down the hill for turn 2. Sanner playing a most dangerous game with those turtles that, as I mentioned earlier, are not actually out here as far as real NASCAR is concerned, but for some reason iRacing.com left them in. And you know what? They really haven't been that big of a deal tonight, so I guess we should just let it go. We have 4 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas, here on the Independence Racing Network, bringing you Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series on iRacing.com. And we are glad to have you in with us. And I'll tell you what, this race has been just fantastic from stem to stern. I mean, Nicholas Breidenbach, he may not have been having the night that he was hoping to have, losing 9 positions, but, you know, to be completely honest, it's a road course. You know, if you're not a road aficionado, there's a good chance you're not going to do well here. I mean, you can practice, whoa, as it looks like Stafford just gets it loose overshoots the corner here in the carousel. As we see him in the arena section of the track, we'll move over to the carousel once he gets over there. As well, this camera angle will get you a little nauseous. As we're just waiting for that camera to hit some clear space, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And we see Stafford getting ready to come back down the front stretch, cross the start-finish line, leaving us with 3 laps to go here at Circuit of the Americas in the Pit Boss 250 on Monday night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. I'm Dave Regal here at the microphone. Glad to be with you tonight as Joe Stafford, your current race leader in the number 57 Chevrolet from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Glad to have him out here representing the 610 and the 215 so well. As, wow, he is really whipping now, as he only has about a 7-second lead over Trowbridge. And it takes quite a while till we see Trowbridge come into these S's with the 20 car of Bryson Alexander, that Toyota, there alongside of him. So things definitely starting to tighten up for Trowbridge, as he just wants to be able to get around Bryson as he has now, so he can try to put his sights on Joe Stafford. But I have to be honest with you folks, looking at this from this perspective, 3 laps to go, I don't know if Trowbridge has enough. Wow, as he gets through the hairpin, real hairy, no pun intended. And we're taking a look now at Dakota Cave chasing down the 32 car of Ian Humphreys to put him a lap down here on the front stretch, as we're going to see Zach Vaughn in the number 91 Rowdy Energy car be chased down by Dakota Cave. Dakota deciding now is the good time to start putting it on, as he is going to try to get a little bit of a draft off the rear of Zach Vaughn, looking for a little bit of air on that front bumper, as Vaughn trying desperately to hold off. We're going to see Vaughn go in there to the inside with Dakota Cave on the outside. Vaughn slows himself down, but not enough to wiggle Cave from that bumper. As we're going to go into the carousel, into the arena, you'll see Cave here in that teal car chasing down Vaughn. Vaughn in that white and black car there in the middle of your screen, dropping down to the curb, working his way through. And we see him here in the carousel, trying to hold Dakota Cave off here with just 2 laps to go at COTA on the Independence Racing Network. As Joe Stafford all by his lonesome out here, with now just a 4-second lead over Tim Trowbridge, who seems to have turned it on fairly late here in this race at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. And folks, I know we're getting toward the late stages of this race, but I do want to thank you for joining us on YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can get notified every time we go live here on the Independence Racing Network for Monday night NASCAR's Xfinity Series. If you like hanging out with me here tonight, you can always check in tomorrow night over on ESPN with my partner Tony Trapasso and I, calling for the Western States Racing League at 10:15. Then on Wednesday nights, you can also catch me over on ESPN with the Way She Goes Racing League at 9. And that's actually a brand new league over there. And they just do a fantastic job, as it appears. Speaking of fantastic jobs, Chris Claude yet again getting wrapped up into some nonsense here at COTA, gets himself into the 32 of Ian Humphreys and just gets himself spread out way far and wide as they get ready to head back down the front stretch. But the story of the night is Joe Stafford coming up 15 positions in the number 57 Chevrolet. That black Chevy making its rounds here at COTA. And as we run right now, Joe Stafford, your race leader, Tim Trowbridge in second, Mike Wright in third, Bobby Blazer in fourth, and Chad Sanner running in fifth position. And this time by, Joe Stafford takes the white flag, followed by Tim Trowbridge in the number 74, but Trowbridge only 3 seconds behind. Not enough time, as he may have turned on those afterburners a little late. As we get ready for one more time, Joe Stafford to come through turn 2, and then he enters the S's here, and we will take a look here at Joe Stafford, your presumptive race winner from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as he has just from stem to stern worked his tail off during this race. So kudos to him so far as he now enters turn number 8. And we get ready to see his car one more time hump over turn 10. Chased down by Trowbridge. Trowbridge getting a little loose as he now is 1.8 seconds behind Stafford. But Stafford too strong here, I think, as it looks like Trowbridge is doing his very best to make up that distance. We will keep an eye on these two as they get ready to head into turn number 12. And just about as soon as we see that, with 1.89 seconds separating Trowbridge and Stafford, I'm not sure Trowbridge can set himself up to get any more space on Stafford without wrecking his car. As Stafford is just dialed in here, and we take a look at Trowbridge making his exit. We're going into turn 13 now. And it just appears like maybe that's a little bit much for these two drivers. As we see Stafford here with 1.71 seconds over Trowbridge. Suddenly our cameras wanted to get a little locked up. As we see Stafford come through and get ready to take that checkered flag here at Circuit of the Americas, your race winner is Joe Stafford of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So congratulations to Joe. Enjoy that win as you get ready to celebrate here in Austin, Texas. Folks, we're taking a look now at Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who has done an absolutely amazing job getting 15 positions up from where he had qualified and working his way all the way in here. And I'll tell you what, he's worked his tail off. Joe Stafford, your race winner, followed by Mike Wright, Bobby Blazer, Chad Sanner, and Dakota Cave, your top 5. Here on the Independence Racing Network, we are sponsored by Northeastern Fire and Air and Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, of course, sponsored by RS Button Boxes and Buttkicker. So we are hoping to get a hold of Joe Stafford, Mike Wright, and Bobby Blazer as Joe is going to celebrate this victory. Mike Wright, Dave Regal up in the Independence Racing Network broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Copy.
Hey, man, listen, great race tonight. The pride of Greensboro, North Carolina, bringing home second position here. How do you feel?
Tired. A little bit confused. I didn't change anything on the car. The track temp didn't change too much, and after the first run, it was definitely sliding a lot more than I was expecting. I could never really get it back to what I had on the first run, but came away apparently second with a DQ, it looks like, and only ended up with 3 incident points for off tracks for all those laps, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Hey, listen, 3 incident points after everything that you've been through tonight. That's impressive for anybody here at COTA or really any road course, so to speak. I mean, I myself fell short of the goal last night with the DQ. So, you worked your tail off tonight. I mean, qualified on the pole, and like you said, the car just started sliding around. I mean, we started seeing your rear end coming out. We're not sure if track temperature was an effect of that or not, but I didn't see any temperatures moving drastically.
Yeah, it was only a couple degrees, and in the second run, I was actually trying to save some tires, and it actually felt worse than the first run. So a little confused by that, but come away where we did. Obviously, Joe was running in his own league there from the start of the second stage on. So even if I felt as comfortable as I did in the first stage, I don't think it would have mattered too much. So second place, we got a string of poles here in a row now going, and adding to the point lead. So I'm happy with it.
Absolutely, man. And of course, you do sit atop that standings chart. At least at the beginning of the race, you were sitting atop the standings chart. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight?
No, just doing our thing tonight. I had Larry doesn't race, but he kind of helped spot for me, so he did a good job letting me know what was going on. But otherwise, we just did our thing and stayed out of trouble. So good to go.
All right, man. Well, we'll cut you loose and let you get some rest, especially because going right and left all night, your shoulder's got to be killing you. Plus, trucks tomorrow night.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Folks, that was Mike Wright, driver of the number 38 Ford. And right now, we have our race winner with us in the booth, Joe Stafford from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, of the number 57 Chevrolet. Joe, it's Dave Regal in a broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Gotcha, Dave.
Hey, man, listen, heck of a run tonight. Up 15 positions from where you started. I mean, you were dialed in. It was like you were just in the Zen zone.
Yeah, the car was on rails. I want to shout out Nicholas Breidenbach and the guys at Propel for putting it together. Thing was on rails.
Absolutely. And I mean, you represent the 215 pretty well, especially there's a lot of Pennsylvania guys in the race tonight. So you definitely brought it home for those of us that are in Philly or right nearby. The car was handling good for you, though?
Yeah, it was really good. And yeah, I definitely brought this home for all my Pennsylvanians.
I mean, me personally, I'm just waiting for Phillies baseball in about 10 days. So,
me too. Me too.
Are you going to opening day this year?
I might.
Listen, if you go, you call me because my son and I are going to be there on opening day. So get some tickets and come see us.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll be there.
All right, man. Well, is there anybody you'd like to shout out tonight?
Yeah, shout out to everyone running the league. Shout out to Chester Water Authority. They're on my cup car this year. Maybe make a scheme up here for the Xfinity. Shout out to you in the booth. Shout out to Propel and, yeah, everyone involved.
All right, man. Well, listen, enjoy the win. You earned the heck out of it tonight. You coming up 15 positions from qualifying 16th. So heck of a run, man. We'll cut you loose, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
That was your race winner, Joe Stafford, of the number 57 Chevrolet, and out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Glad to have him here tonight, and I'll tell you what, it was quite a race. From stem to stern, these guys worked everything just so perfectly. not a whole lot of accidents, and even the ones that we did see, certainly nothing that would, be bad, so to speak. We see all kinds of crazy things happen in these races, but not tonight, to be completely honest. So not real sure what's going on here, why I can't get off of Joe Stafford, as perhaps we have just extended what we're allowed to do here. There we go. Everything just decided to get all kind of crazy. As we take a look at our final results here from Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, Joe Stafford, your race winner from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, followed by Mike Wright in the number 38 Ford. Bobby Blazer in third position, followed by Chad Sanner, Dakota Cave in the number 30 Toyota, rounding out your top five. Zach Vaughn, Bob Nestor, Nicholas Breidenbach, Aaron Mack, and John Espewalda III in the number 51 Chevrolet round out your top 10. Chris Cloud in the number 10 Dasani Water Toyota Supra is in 11th. Brad Gunn in 12th. Carlos Ramos, Tim Trowbridge in 14th, as I believe it was mentioned that he got disqualified there on the last lap. That's awful frustrating for a driver like him, who put together such a good race and kept himself running so tough. It's sad to see Tim finish back there in 14th. Bryson Alexander in 15th, with Ian Humphreys in 16th. Tony Burton 17th. Corey Burkett in 18th. Jarrett Small and Austen Storey in the number 23 Toyota round out your top 20, with Cody Strom and Andrew Layton bringing up the rear of the field. And folks, I mean, just a heck of a race tonight. These drivers put together a really good race. Nothing crazy, which, I can't stress enough. And we look forward now to next week getting back to the ovals, as I'm sure, although that it's an oval, it's Richmond. And we're going to do 250 laps next Monday night at Richmond, doing the Toyota Care 250. And not an easy track to get around by any stretch. So for those guys that are in penalty danger with their penalty points, it's going to be a tough one, especially if they took a licking tonight here in Austin, Texas. After that, we look at Martinsville, Bristol Dirt, and then the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega Super Speedway on April 25th. So a lot of tough tracks coming up. No real place to hide in any of them for any of these drivers, as things are now really heating up as far as points. And we'll find out after scoring and everything is made official what the points picture looks like here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And folks, I can't thank you enough for joining us over these last couple of hours. Looks like that race took a little bit over 2 hours to complete, and we're just glad to have you here. It's not every day where you can sit and watch some really great side-by-side racing with a good friend, with a group of friends. So if you were watching us from start to finish, we thank you. And here on the Independence Racing Network, we're here every Monday night. Monday nights, 9 o'clock. Tune in. Subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so that, God forbid you forget, you can be reminded that we're here and we're ready to race. So for everybody in Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series, I'm Dave Regal with the Independence Racing Network. Thank you and good night.